I'm sitting here looking at the calendar like, wait, today is not the 25th. Today is not the 25th. And guess what? Today is the 25th. It has been OMG. It has been 12 days since I have seen all of y'all. I have not seen y'all since Sunday, April the 12th, which was the anniversary slash birthday of Let's Talk Finance podcast. Hey! How y'all doing? I love y'all. How are y'all? I missed y'all so much. Hey! Hey! So, now that I got all that excitement out, I'm like, hey y'all, hey! I missed y'all so much. I missed y'all so very much. First, I would like to say thank everyone for the anniversary and the birthday wishes. It touched me right here. Oh, right here, all of it. Like, oh wow, it really touched me. Thank you for the motivation. Thank you for just being who you are. I really appreciate that. You just never know what words can do to and for a person, right? And also, I want to thank everyone that called and sent text messages that came by to visit due to the loss of my mother in love. Please keep the Edwards and Jackson family in your prayers. We definitely need it. You know, when you're losing anyone that you love, especially a parent, it's not something that you can take so easy, you know? So this is definitely a journey as well as a healing process. So I just want to say, you know, thank you to everyone that has reached out in whatever shape, form, or fashion. Like, I appreciate the love and the support. Like, thank you guys so very much. Thank y'all. Well, April has been nothing less than busy, to say the least. Definitely nothing busy, nothing less than busy, right? But before we get into all that good stuff, oh yes, all of that excellent stuff, what do I like to do first, y'all? What? Kick off the show with fun facts. So I thought about today's fun fact, and today's fun fact is definitely for my people that love this spring weather and this summer weather that's going to be approaching very rapidly. And when I say rapidly, to me, that means it's going to happen tomorrow, because it's just been in the 70s and 80s all week. And I know it's just going to continue to go that way. It's not going to be any more snow. It's not going to be any more hailing. Like, none of that good weather, no blizzards, none of that. That's not coming until maybe late October, early November, right? So that's a long way from here. So today's fun fact is definitely about springtime, right? So everybody likes springtime, right? Except me. I'm not gonna lie, I don't like it. I don't care for it. It's not for me. Not a problem. Because all seasons are not for everybody. But for everyone that's waiting on this hot weather, let me give you some fun pointers about springtime, right? So, upon my research, I learned that spring is not just springtime, but springtime is a season of renewal. And you can take renewal to mean so many different things, whether it's renewing your life, renewing what you've been through, coming out of certain situations. People call it spring cleaning. Like, I'm spring cleaning my house, getting ready. So it's for the renewal, and it's marked by the vernal equinox. And what that basically means, to sum it up, right? Because I had to go look that up. I'm like, how does this play into that? But what that typically means is that it's longer days and the rising temperatures as the earth axis tilts toward the sun. So that's what springtime is getting us prepped for and ready, because the sun well, not the sun, but the temperatures of the earth axis is tilting. And it's like, wow, to see that happen. Like, it's phenomenal to see that, but I just wanted to stay cold. I'm gonna put me up a GoFundMe page just to send me to Alaska, and I promise I'll make it. I just want the cold weather. Now, spring typically begins around March 20th or March 21st. Sometimes it can start as early as March 19th. Now, spring happens because the earth, like I stated, is tilted toward the sun. Days become longer and nights become shorter. And no matter how much research I do when it comes to the days and the nights, even with the time change, it's still 24 hours in a day, no matter how you look at it. So whether the days are longer, the nights are shorter, it's still going to be a 24-hour time span before another day comes, right? Now, what happens is that the sunlight and temperatures can cause spring fever. Never knew that that was real, right? But it is. So you have spring fever and a psychological increase in energy and happiness. So here's my problem with that, right? Just like people don't like the wintertime, they are like sad and overly ready for it to be over. I'm the reverse of that. When it becomes spring and summertime, I get so sad, I get depressed because it's like, do it have to be hot? Why is all these bugs out here? Why is the pollen out here? Why is this? Why is that? All this is happening because it's hot. And when you hot, I don't care how much water you drink. I don't care how many showers you take. I don't care how much air you're under. When you're hot and uncomfortable, you're just hot and miserable. But when you're cold, you can put on an extra layer and you're good. But that's just me. No problem. But anyway, I finally understand why people have that energy and happiness, because all of the sun and the vitamin C and the flowers, and hats off to you. No problem. Give me the snow anytime. I'm there. Now, the good thing about spring is we can talk about nature and wildlife. I really wanted to know how this played a factor into this. So now, springtime is usually when flowers come about, right? So the flowers that are most common is daffodils, dandelions, lilies, tulips. Um, yeah, I said lilies. Don't worry about it. And I was wondering if the flower gardenias were out in the springtime too, and they are, but it's just not a common flower. And a lot of times I reference some of my friends to lilies and daffodils because that's the world that they live in. All they see is lilies and daffodils. So I know for a fact that Chrissy and my friend that I call my poo love spring and summertime. When it comes to winter, like they just whatever. And I understand that. Now, in Japan, spring is defined by the blooming of cherry blossoms. And it's like, wow, all the way in Japan, I would have thought that it would have been closer, but it's surprising how countries and like being international, how that plays a factor into the different seasons that we have. Now, talking about this wildlife, right? A queen bee, which is me, but no, a queen bee can lay up to 2,000 eggs in the spring to build a bee army. Let me tell you something. I saw the bee movie, and there was a lot of bees. And I've been stung by a bee, and I don't want to go near no bees or no bee army at all. But I love honey. Isn't that amazing? But okay, no worry. Now, spring also brings high levels of pollen from trees and flowers. And what this does is it triggers allergies. And it's been known that over 50 million Americans suffer from allergies when it comes to the spring. So I'm sure medications like Allegra or Claritin, something to that extent, the prices go up because people buy it more frequently because of the springtime. I know if I had allergies like that, I would love the wintertime. Now, last but not least, when it comes to you spring lovers, spring is also known as extreme weather changes, which means that it could be raining today, it could be sunshining tomorrow, and then it could be cold the day after, and then sunny all over again. You just never know what you're going to get in that type of climate because it's springtime, right? Everything happens. And so, what is the old cliche? April showers bring May flowers. So yeah, but I think this month we got really cheated out of rain because it really wasn't that much rain out by Hammond, Indiana, by me. It really wasn't that much. Yeah, we got about that much. Well, maybe that much. Yeah, about that much, but it really wasn't a lot. So that is my fun facts for today. I hope someone was enlightened and impressed by that. And of course, if there's anything that you want to know about, please feel free to love, like, comment, and give me your feedback. I would love to do research on something that's so different that maybe you know and we can share with others, right? Because that's how we learn. We learn from one another. Like, I don't know everything at all. And learning to me becomes endless because I just can't stop learning. I can't stop asking why, why. You know, that's one thing my mom always told me. She said, Siobhan, don't come home and ask me no questions because I don't know. I ain't been in school since Kitty was a cat, not since Kitty was a kitten, and he a full grown cat and he still ain't learned nothing. So while you there, you better ask questions. And I took that to heart because everything with me is, but why? But why? Make that make sense. So that's where I am when it comes to the springtime. So my announcements for today is, people, I'm gonna keep saying this. And I know y'all getting tired of me. I know y'all are. But I'm gonna keep saying this. Please, 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 please create your IRS ID Me account. If you're in the state of Illinois, please create your My Tax Illinois account. That is so important. Very important. I want to take some time to give some shout outs to some people that's kicking it with me on this Saturday. All the way from the Philippines, got my content creator, Cha Cha Cha. Cha Cha Cha. Hey, girl. That's how you know you somebody, when somebody from somewhere else coming to watch you. I got a good friend of mine on here, Silk G. Hello, Silk G. All the way, is it Freeport, if I'm not mistaken? How you doing? Saying hello to you and the family and the missus. Anybody's name that I did not call, thank you for tuning in, whether you're live right now or you're coming back to tune in. Just thank you for the love and support. We're here creating financial literacy to get you to where you need to be for free. No charge at all. All you got to do is listen. And if you got questions, call and ask questions. Like, it don't get no better than that. Like, it don't get no better than that. What I'm creating, I wish this would have been in effect when I was coming along. But now I'm glad that it wasn't in effect, because if I didn't go through what I went through, I wouldn't be able to come and tell y'all what not to do, because I've been down that road, right? Now, it's still April. We still got people celebrating birthdays. So happy birthday to anybody that's celebrating their birthday. Yes, I'm still accepting birthday cake. Absolutely. I love birthday cake with buttercream icing. But that's okay, because my birthday coming and somebody is going to give me some birthday cake with some buttercream icing, or they're going to give me a nice caramel cake because they love me, right? Right. So happy birthday. Please celebrate with decency and in order. Please do so. We want you around for another birthday. So that means no drinking and driving, no swerving. If you out partying, whatever it is that you do, have a designated driver or be somewhere where you can stay for the night to regroup and then come back tomorrow. That's what you want to do, right? So, again, please love, like, share, and comment on the content, because why? It's free. It's there. And I want y'all opinions, whether good, bad, ugly, indifferent. I don't care, because that just helps me. And again, who don't love to learn and who don't love to grow, right? Now, let's jump into welcome back to Let's Talk Finance. Hey, 12 days, y'all. It's been 12 days. I really missed y'all. I really missed y'all. Thank y'all so much. And if this is your first time joining Let's Talk Finance podcast, welcome to the family. This is a family affair here. There's no judgment, there's no criticizing. We are all here to learn and share and grow from one another. That's it. That's all. Period. We here to have fun in the midst of it. What do I mean by that? So here on Let's Talk Finance, right? Here's where we break down your finances with clarity. We break down your finances with faith. We break down your finances with empowerment. And we do that because we want you to understand your money. We want you to know that it's not just about the numbers. You got to have some type of awareness. You got to have some type of alignment, and you have to have confidence along with purpose. So that's why we come here every Saturday, because we want this for you. And it's important, right? And again, if you don't have time to learn about your finances, then there's a disconnect somewhere, and we need to reshift that. So your finances could mean just as much to you as anything else, if not holds a different level of respect, right? So let's jump right into this amazing show. Now, today's show is coming from deep down inside, like all the way deep down inside, right? And we're going to get into that. And it may go over and it may not. And if you have to leave, I understand. And I still thank you for the love and the support. So, what if I asked you right now, do you truly understand your finances in all capacities? Or do you just know that you're getting money? You have some reference to what you're getting, but you're not all the way sure, right? Let's talk about that, right? And when I use the word aware, because our topic today is awareness about your finances. That's what our topic is. And awareness goes far beyond knowing you get a refund or you checking your account and you're understanding what's in your account, right? It goes way further beyond that. It goes further than what your tax return look like. I know if many people have seen me on here, many people, you've always heard me say, the federal and state entities will never, ever call you. They'll never call you. They take the information that you send them, they dissect the information, they come up with a plot and a storyline. And if you agree to it, great. If you don't, there's proper protocols and procedures that are in place for you to take for that reason alone, right? So today we're going to dig into your tax return, your refund, your balances owed, and the schedules that get you in trouble. And again, awareness. So the truth of the matter is, you cannot make a powerful decision if you don't even know what sits on the surface. We can't continue to get on this hamster wheel and say, hey, look, this person did it, this person did it. I know. No, it doesn't go like that. Every situation is uniquely different, and we have to cater to that situation. So today we're diving into your financial awareness on a deeper level. We're breaking down different habits. We want you to know what sits on your schedules, what schedules get you in trouble, what schedules get you looked at, what schedules get you audited, what schedules make a person look at your paperwork and be like, yeah, no, I don't want to deal with it. Yeah, no. So And believe it or not, all of that comes through our office, right? Quick stop, quick pause, put a pin in it. Just want to give a shout out to all the tax preparers that work endlessly to get past this April 15th deadline. I tilt my hat to you all because this tax season has been something, baby. It has been, I don't even know the word for it, but it has been something. And, just the fact that we were all here, we were diligently working endlessly, effortlessly. Like, I tilt my hat off to you all. Enough appreciation does not go out to us, but I see y'all. I respect y'all. I love y'all. We are in this together. And that brings us to our topic for today. Now, because I'm under a couple NDAs, I am not at liberty to say the people that I work for during tax time, but I work for some pretty big box companies, right? And all the time this season alone, I think I stopped counting at 500 amended returns. How is it that your 2025 tax return needs to be amended already? How and why? What is it that we're doing? What is it that we're not doing? And so with that being said, here's what I'm going to talk about first, right? We all wait 12 months before we get our documents. We have to wait 12 months before we get any document to take to any preparer to get their taxes done. Is it really going to hurt you to wait another month or two to get your documents? Is it really? The cost that you're going to have to pay for that. So you done already paid to get your taxes done. Now you got to pay again because you're having an amended return done because you couldn't wait for your documents. It's not necessary, people. Let's keep that money in our pocket and let's wait. The documents are coming. Just give it time. Give it time. Just because the date to file out may be February 4th, that don't mean you got to hurry up and file February 4th if you don't have all your documents. Another reason why we got so many amended returns, especially that come across my desk, is because people question their refunds. Let's talk about it. Now, if you've watched my show, you know I've went over the W-4 with you. I've went over the W-9 with you. I've went over schedules 1, 2, 3 with you. I've went over your entire tax return with you, pages 1 and pages 2. Because I want you to be aware. And anytime that you're not aware, there's a problem. And I don't like being unaware of anything, especially when you're spending your money. So let's talk about it. So a tax refund is a reimbursement of excess taxes paid to the federal government, right? The tax payments include estimated tax payments and federal withholdings, right? Now, it exceeds the taxable liability that you have. So out of all the income you made, out of all the deductions, now you have a taxable liability, right? So if you have federal withholdings or estimated tax payments and you've exceeded that liability, now you get a refund. If you don't exceed that liability, if you didn't pay anything into it, that's something totally different. But that's what a refund is. Now, if you get a refund, you should question why you got a refund. If your refund is higher than it normally is, you should question your refund. I cannot count the times. I stopped counting, honestly. I stopped counting when I got to 100 pennies that a person told me, well, Miss Shavonna, I didn't change my W-4. I don't know what happened. It didn't happen like this last year. Guess what, people? Tax laws change every year. And if you do not do your due diligence to go out there and look for this information, it's not going to be given to you. And you can't call the federal and state entities and say, I didn't know that. Guess what they're going to tell you? You should have done your due diligence. You should have Googled. So if you take that time to research that new iPhone or them new shoes that's coming out, you need to research what documents have came out for your finances. Your tax preparer or your accountant will also let you know, hey, these new documents are out. Be ready to fill these documents out and turn these documents into your company so you don't get caught in a crossfire. And again, things happen. A lot of things can happen in a 365-day time span. Now, what if you have a balance that's owed? Let's talk about it. A tax balance that's owed is an outstanding amount of money that a taxpayer owes to a tax authority, whether it's the federal, state, local, or government entities. This is something that you owe. Now, resulting from underpayments of the payments that you, the taxpayer, should have made, what comes with that balance is penalties and interest. Sometimes the penalties and interest can outweigh the actual amount that you already owe. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. And so what we're going to talk about is not only the schedules, but we're going to talk about the difference between a tax preparer, and we're going to talk about the difference between a person that does taxes. This is no offense to anyone at all. I don't knock the game. I don't knock the hustle. I don't knock the struggle. What I do say is if you're going to do it, do the best that you can do. And if it's above your pay grade, refer that to someone else. Hands down. Prime example. I know how to cook. I think I'm a very good cook. I got plus pounds, of course, I didn't say the number, to prove that me in the kitchen are very good friends. But guess what? If it's something I don't know how to cook, I know my sister Benita know how to do it. I know my sister Denise know how to do it. So that's who I'm going to call. Benita, how you do this? Benita, how you do that? Because I know she knows. She does this. So, with that example, let's talk about a tax preparer. We have to take continuing education courses every year. We have to sit and we have to take an exam every year to file out in the current filing season. And if you do not take that exam, that means you've been doing taxes just that long that you were grandfathered in, that you no longer need to take those continuing education classes because you're aware and you know what's going on. We have a P10 number. That's like our social security number. We have to sign your tax return. You can look us up on the IRS website as tax preparers. You can report us to the federal and state entities. You can bring charges against us. We have to know different statutes. We have to know different protocols. We have to stay abreast with all the tax laws and the tax changes. We have to be made aware of everything that happens, whether we go to webinars, whether we go to seminars, whether we listen to other influential people that's been in the industry way longer than I have. And sometimes this comes at a cost. When we're done with your documents, our name, P10 number, company's name, address, city, state, zip, and signature goes on your tax return. So we are easily to be found. If something is wrong with your tax return, we have to fix it if we're at fault. If we're not at fault, some taxpayers may say, well, okay, we'll fix it, and it may or may not be a charge. It just depends. But if it's our own negligence or our own mistakes, we have to take responsibility for that and get it done accurately. Now, a person that does taxes, you bring them your documents, they give it to you. On the bottom of that tax return, page 2 to be exact, it says self-prepared. So when it goes into the federal government, you done told the federal government, I am signing off on this return. I know exactly what I put on this return. I am accountable for everything I put on this return. I am aware of everything I've put on this return. And to my knowledge, everything is accurate. I am not committing perjury. That's what you're signing that tax return saying to the federal and state entities. So when you call them and you say, I didn't know, they're going to say, why didn't you Google it? I know, because I've been on the phone with taxpayers and the federal and state entities. I'm on the phone calling the federal and state entities at least 4 days out of 5 at minimal. Because sometimes you just can't tell a person anything. They have to hear it. So you have to be aware of who you're giving your documents to. You have to be aware of what sits on your tax return. Let's talk about it. So we done went through schedules 1, 2, 3 and what's on there. We done also looked at pages 1 and 2 of your tax return. We done also looked at pages 1 and 2 of your state tax return. Because I don't let a client leave my office, whether it's in person or virtual, without knowing what sits on your tax return. Because what you won't do is say, Shavonna didn't explain it to you. I play many games, but that's not one of them. I don't play with ethics and integrity. I don't play with that because that's what you have in business. I despise that. So when you're spending your money, you got the right to know what you're spending your money on. So many times we don't want to spend our money, but we want the best. So you can't go to Prime or Provision and get a tomahawk lamb chop and expect to pay $20 for it like you can go in the hood and buy it. Absolutely not. You coming out your pocket with at least $150 to $200, if not more. So you pay for what you get. It's the same thing when we're talking about your finances. Let's talk about it. Schedule A sits on your tax return. Why does Schedule A sit on your tax return? Well, it's connected to the 1040. Typically, individuals that file out on Schedule A's pay real estate taxes, they pay mortgage insurance, they itemize deductions, they pay medical expenses, they pay state and local taxes, they give away charitable contributions, charitable gifts. This is everything that sits on your Schedule A. Water time. This is everything that sits on the Schedule A. However, this can also lower your federal income tax, the tax that's owed. Now, you can't come to your tax preparer and say, well, I donated $300 to my friend and I take care of my cousin, and that's not a write-off. It's not. I'm not going to write it off. But if you know somebody that will, be ready to pay the consequences. If you're going to dance to the music, be ready to pay the piper at the end. That's the only advice I can give you. But that's who carries a Schedule A. If you're not exceeding the standard deduction that is allotted to you from the federal government every year, and this year is $15,750, then you're not carrying a Schedule A. It has to exceed that. And that's if you're single. Now, let's talk about Schedule B. Schedule B also is connected to your Form 1040. Now, what is Schedule B used for Shavana? Well, if you have taxable entrance and dividends, which means your bank gives you entrance for housing a bank account, anything over $10, you're supposed to, write that off. You're going to get a 1099 INT. If you have dividends or foreign accounts, that's going to come on 1099 DIV. You're going to report your ordinary dividends and your qualified dividends. That's what you're going to report. Now, I'm going to say the best for last. So we're going to skip this schedule and go to the next schedule. We're going to talk about the Schedule D. Now, the Schedule D is also connected to your 1040. Well, how is that, Shavana? What is that? Glad you asked. The Schedule D reports your gains and your losses from any stocks, any sales of investments, any bonds, any mutual funds, any bitcoins, any real estate, any cryptocurrency. That's what's going to go on your Schedule D. So if you receive a 1099 DA, if you receive a 1099B from Charles Schwab or Fidelity, any one of those companies, that means you're going to have a Schedule D that's going to be attached to your 1040. You're going to have to pay taxes on any capital gains you have. There's no taxes on any losses. However, depending on your loss, you can carry up to $3,000 until the losses have expired. Schedule E. Schedule E is also attached to your Form 1040. What is Schedule E, Ms. Shavana? Well, let's talk about it, right? Schedule E is a supplemental income of loss. So what we report on Schedule E's is real estate. So if you have property, if you rent out, whether it's business or commercial, and you have that connected to you, it's going to go on a Schedule E. You also report your royalties on there. You also report mortgage entrance on there, as far as deductions are concerned. Any deductions that's affiliated with that property, if you are an active participant and you spend more than 750 hours there and you make decisions, you are able to write off deductions. That's what the Schedule E is for. Now, that schedule that I said we're going to go back to, I stopped counting when I got to 200 pennies. When I heard a person tell me, I didn't know this was on my tax return. I was wondering why I got a refund. I usually owe, but it really wasn't that much. So now I'm asking you questions and I'm probing and asking, and you sitting there looking at me like I'm crazy. Like I just pulled this out of nowhere. It's on your tax return. My people, my loves, if we could be nosy about gossip, if we could be nosy about what somebody is going through on social media, why we can't take that same energy and be nosy about our tax return and what goes into that? Why must we pay to have an amended return? Why must we pay the federal and state entities money that we shouldn't have to pay if only we were aware, if only we knew what was going on? And we don't know what's going on because we don't question anything, especially if we're getting a refund. You question everything. This is why you got a refund. And as I go over the tax return with any of my clients, I tell them, you have a refund, but here is why you have a refund. Because there's a reason why. And you need to know that reason. Here is why you owe. This is why. Now, let's talk about it, which is going to be That's Schedule C. That Schedule C is also connected to your 1040. That is your profit and loss statement for sole proprietors, independent contractors, freelancers, anybody that do any work that's not attached to a time clock, that don't have to report anywhere. You set your own schedule. You have your own company, your own EIN number, whatever it is you're doing. You're reporting the income and expenses. Put a pin in it. Let me greet all my guests on here. Hello to anybody that's tuning in, that's watching. Hi, Vanita. And we have Rena Bean. Hi. Thank you for joining Let's Talk Finance Podcast. Hi. And yeah, I got to look down because it's so small on this little screen and I can't see it. And you know, the glasses is good. They're real good. I just can't see y'all. So, thank you everybody for watching and tuning in. I do hope that you walk away with something. If you are unable to stay for the entire show, you can catch the replay on our YouTube channel and also here on Facebook. But thank you for tuning in. I so love you guys. Please feel free to watch, share, comment on the material. I welcome that. I take this back to my team. We all talk about this because this is important, because we want to spread the word. Now, back to that Schedule C. So many times I've talked to taxpayers, and I'm a taxpayer myself. So many times I've talked to taxpayers and it gets me emotional. Sometimes it gets me so angry that I got to call one of my best friends. And it reminded me of Tom and Jerry when the little duck was on there fussing and trying to get back home and was so against Jerry and just kept fussing. And Jerry was just standing there with like, I'm just trying to help. That's me talking to my friend Pooh. And I just keep going off. I'm going to blow a blood vessel. And she's like, okay, Shavonda, there's nothing you can do but just educate them and continue to talk about it. And it's like, no, you're not listening. But I say all that to say that the Schedule C can help you as well as hurt you. As my mom used to always tell us, you cannot run from Uncle Sam. People do understand that there is not a statute of limitation. The federal government can come back at you for anything. There's a statute of limitation from what you have to do. So now your documents have to be in. Like, you have 3 years to file your tax returns. So if you have not filed tax year 23 or 24, no problem. This year is your year to be filing all those taxes because you have 3 years to file it. Now, let's just say you have taxes from tax year 2021 and you're filing in 26. Great. If there's a refund on 21 or 22, you might as well kiss that goodbye. You're not getting it. But thank you for sending in your return. Thank you for being in compliance. That's what they're telling you. So, with that being said, how can this schedule get me in trouble? Sometimes we don't know the schedules that sit on our return. Why is that? Why don't we know what's on our return? If you've never gotten a refund for $1,000, why are you not questioning that? Why? You need to question that. How is it that you have a Schedule C and just for the sake of time, you made $500 on your Schedule C. Yet every deduction that's on that Schedule C, page 1 and 2, is filled with expenses. So you'd have made $500. Let's just say you have a W-2, and hey, let's say you're making $100,000 a year. You're doing good for yourself. But your Schedule C has you at a loss of $90,000. How is that possible? But you got a refund. That's all you're concerned about. No, my loves, no, and no. We have to be more diligent about what we're sending to the federal and state entities. Because I can guarantee you three things. One, you don't want to talk to the IRS or the state. That's one. Two, you don't want to open them letters when they come to you because you're afraid of what those letters are going to say. Three, if you have not addressed those letters, now you're digging yourself deeper in the hole. What does that take? What does that equate to? Levies, garnishments. Now you got everybody in your business. And it's not necessary. All because you wanted a refund? It's not necessary. All because you didn't want to owe? It's not necessary. If you want a refund that bad, I saw some challenges online where you save $1 every day. So day one, you save $1. Day two, you save $2, and you keep that going. If that's not beneficial for you, you start small. As my grandmother used to tell us, you save a nickel a week. And when the ice cream truck comes, you don't go buy your ice cream that Friday. You wait, because that next Friday you may get a banana split because you done saved all your nickels. So start small. I don't care if you start with a nickel a week. You increase that nickel to a quarter if you can. If you can't, increase it to a dime. Then increase it to a quarter. Then 50 cents, then 75, and so on until you get where you're trying to get to. Don't think that because you're getting a refund, it's extra money that you're owed. No, it's the money that you paid in that exceeds your taxable liability. That's all that is. So if you want that extra money, save that extra money. And I know you're saying, well, Siobhan, I can't do that. It's easier said than done. Or you may be saying, who you think you're talking to? You don't tell me what to do. And that very well may be true. And I'm not trying to tell you what to do. I'm trying to make you aware of what's happening to save you money. Because if your file comes across my desk and it looks alarming to me, and I sit and I ask you all these questions and I don't know you from Adam or Eve, don't you think the federal and state entities gonna ask you these same questions? It's bound to happen. It's bound to come up. And again, you can't tell them I didn't know, because they're gonna tell you IRS.gov is a public website. You can go there 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. I'm not telling you what I know. I'm telling you what I've heard almost 50 IRS representatives tell people. Well, didn't you know someone that you can ask or that you can sit and talk to about this that could probably guide you to us? Well, what made you prompt to call us today? Why didn't you call us before now? Why wait till the problem is here? Well, I can't ask you who did your taxes because on your tax return, it says self-prepared. Now, that's a whole nother story, because now you're telling them, I didn't do that. One of my friends did it. Well, it don't say that on the tax return. It says self-prepared. So you yourself signed off on this. It's not going to fly. They don't care about your hardships. They don't care about your mishaps, because they're going to say this information was made available to you and you failed to do your due diligence to make sure you were doing everything correctly. Why don't you consult with a tax accountant or a tax preparer so you can get your finances in order? Many times when we don't get a refund, we get mad at our preparer and say they don't know what they're doing. We're going to go somewhere else. Or that refund too small. What I'm going to do with that? And we go somewhere else. Or you turn your eyes up and you turn your nose up and you look sideways and you go somewhere else. And that's because you don't understand the tax laws. That's because you're only looking at a refund. You're looking at in the moment, but that in the moment can cause you a lifetime of pain, Because who wants to pay anybody, especially in the trying times that we are in right now? So I encourage you to know what's on your tax return. Get with somebody, make that connection with them. If they're not asking you questions, it's a problem. It's a problem. I have a checklist that I send out. And when I send that checklist out and we meet and have our consultation, whether you have it with me or my business project manager or any member on my team, these documents have to be legit. And if they're not legit, we're not touching it. If you can't produce it, we're not touching it. Because we don't want those problems for us or for you. If we sit and our consultation has to go over an hour because of your unawareness to what's attached to you, that's a disconnect. And we need to get the connection going. How do we get that going, Miss Shavonna? You talk to your accountant. That's one of your best friends. You talk to your tax preparer. That's one of your best friends because they're talking about your finances. What your sister, brother, cousin, auntie, uncle, baby, daddy, sister did, that's not going to work for you because every situation is different. Every situation is uniquely different. Your situation is not going to be the same as the person's situation that you work with and that you're friends with. I don't care if both of y'all make $60,000 a year, both of y'all doing single and one. That person's situation is going to be way different from yours because you don't know what sits on that person's W-4. If they have one, you can only go by what they tell you. And I'm not saying you have to be a pro at this. Absolutely not, because that's not your lane. Like me, I don't do hair. Hair is not my lane at all. I stay in my lane. I go to my niece and I get my hair done. I go to my barberette. Hey, I need you to do this. That's not my area of expertise. What is my area of expertise is when it comes to the financial arena. That's my area. And if I don't know something, I have no problem telling you, give me a few days. Let me do my due diligence. And if this doesn't seem right to me, we're going to go to the horse's mouth. That depends on whoever we got to call, because somebody going to tell us something. And I'm so quick to say, reading is fundamental. If you got the comprehension to go with it. You can read all day long, but if you don't understand or comprehend it, it's not going to make no sense to you at all. That's why you need to get with a trusted person when it comes to your finances. A trusted individual who's not going to sugarcoat it with you, who's going to be blunt and tell you the truth. Now, it may hurt your feelings, but you got to respect the truth. You have to. There is no in between. Now, with a lie, you can go so many places with that. But with the truth, and when it comes to your finances, it's right there where it's at. It's right there. And you could come with all the knowledge that you have. And us tax preparers, we love that. We take what you say to heart. But trust and understand, we're going to go do our due diligence. We're going to go do our extensive research. If your tax preparer tell you, come pick up your documents in 2 hours, get you somebody else. And that's not to say that your taxes are not done correctly. But what if you have a complex situation? Do you even know what consists as a complex situation? What's non-complex? Regardless to what it is, regardless to what schedule or form you carry on your tax return, you have to have some type of awareness. Because the federal and state entities are no longer going for, I didn't know, I wasn't aware, nobody told me. They're not going for that. Because ultimately, it's your responsibility. Your meaning the taxpayer, which is you and I. Now, I'm a taxpayer. I get my taxes done. Trust me. I go to my account. Hey, look, is this for real? And I know this, but I just want to be sure, maybe I overlooked something, maybe this don't apply to me. And I could sit and say all the words I want to say. But when it comes time to be in compliance and get it in order, I got to be right. Because I don't want them people knocking on my door. And I don't want to get no letters that I don't want to open or address. So people, get with a trusted tax preparer. Even if you want to go to somebody that just do taxes, make sure they know what they're doing. You ask questions. I don't care if it's something you heard a year ago. Hey, I was in this conversation and I heard that this lady said she got this much back because she did this or that. They're going to ask you questions to see if it pertains to you. And if it doesn't, that ain't the shoe you want to walk in. Walk in your own shoes. Know what's attached to you. Stop using your preparer just for filing taxes. This is people you spend your money with. Just like you will go to Food for Less, Pete's, Piggly Wiggly, Jules, and spend your money every week. Do the same thing when it comes to your preparer, because you're going to eventually talk to them. You're going to eventually expand in whatever it is you're doing, whether it's a pay increase, a new job, a new promotion, a new business, whether you've gotten married, had children, whether you went to school, whether you started investing, something is going to change. Get with that trusted person who can tell you and guide you to where you need to be. Stop spending all this extra money trying to get a refund and defraud the federal government. It's not going to work in your favor. I promise you that. I specialize in IRS resolutions. And it's sad to say, I do more IRS resolutions than I do taxes or bookkeeping. You know why? Because people are not patient. They don't wait. They go off what somebody else said. I have endless conversations, and my heart go out to people that call and they cry, and they're in so much of a disarray because they just don't have the money. And I don't mean to be facetious, but was you crying when you got the refund? Did you ask all these questions when you was getting that money back? So why are you crying now? And I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just trying to understand. Now, am I going to help you? Absolutely. Did you need to spend this extra money? Because that's what you're doing. Because you done already paid somebody $200 to do your taxes, if not $150. But you come to me and I tell you your price $500 or $600. Now you want to frown your nose up. You pay for what you get. Because see, had you came here first, we wouldn't be having this conversation. Had you came and watched our shows on Saturday, we wouldn't be having this conversation. If you were subscribed to the YouTube channel and you went back and watched prior shows, we wouldn't be having this conversation. And again, I get it. My people lack for lack of knowledge. Benita, I know you watching. What Bible verse is that? And it's in the good book. It's in the word. We lack for lack of knowledge. And it's because we don't take the time to learn when it comes to our finances. We want to listen to what somebody else did or said and come out on top like they did. But that's not our path. Our path is something else. And people, I'm not fussing at you. I'm not trying to be mean. I just want y'all to be better. I want y'all to be happy when it's time to file taxes, even if you do owe money. I want you to look at that money like, man, I owe money because I'm paying into my retirement, because I'm a freelancer and ain't nobody matching my Social Security and Medicare. Man, I'm paying these taxes because ain't nobody over me 5 days a week. I make my own schedule. I'm my own boss. I'm paying into my retirement. I'm paying for me to live better. I'm paying so I can have a better generational wealth that I want to leave behind. So yeah, I'm going to pay versus, man, here we go again. Why I got to pay? It ain't nothing you could do. Man, I know this other person that told me they can give me 15 bands back. Well, I'm going to do what Miss Angel do and fold up your papers and get your papers back to you and tell you good luck. I'm not going to do it because I don't play with ethics and I don't play with integrity. I don't play with my name. My name is all I have in business. That's it. My name and my word. And when I say I'm going to do something, you best believe I'm going to do it. So with that, my people, I've kept y'all a minute over. Thank y'all for listening. I want y'all to be aware. I want y'all to know what sits on your Social Security. Any of my clients, new, returning, old, even when they bring me their documents, hey, log into the IRS website, log into your account. I need to pull your transcripts. Because what we won't have is an amended return because it's documents missing. What we won't have is an amended return because now I got to go back and do work. I don't even care about charging you at this point. I'm mad that I got to pick your file back up because you didn't wait or you don't remember what you did a year ago. Let's pull the transcripts. Let's talk about it. I got clients I talk to on a weekly, monthly, semi-annual basis. And I love those relationships because they don't want to hear me. They call me. And the first thing, I got one client that'll call me and say, hey, Rich Queen, I don't mean to bother you, but I got a question. Come on, baby, ask me your question. And he's so slick with it, he don't catch me on the business phone. He calling my personal number. Hey, Rich Queen, look, you ain't answer the business phone, but I don't want to hear your mouth next year. So can you tell me what I'm supposed to do with this? Absolutely. Absolutely. Because I want you to be great. So before you log off today, before you share this content, before you comment, all of that, I want you to take away this, right? When it comes to your tax return, your W-2s, your check stub, all of those source documents, it's not just paperwork. It's not just source documents. That's a reflection of who you are. That's you, because you went and did that work. You punched that clock. You showed up. That's your title. That's you. All that's you. Not me, you. Every schedule that sits on their tax return, it's a reflection of who you are. You have to choose today to be aware. You have to choose today to be involved. You have to choose today whether you're going to make that right decision. So don't walk away from this conversation unchanged. Don't walk away as I'm fussing, I'm being mean, I'm going off on you, because that's not the case. I want you all to be great. I want you to be great. I want to help you be great. I want to help you get there. But it's going to have to start with you first. Because I can't do it alone. It's going to have to start with you first. So with that being said, I want y'all to have a marvelous Saturday. Enjoy today. Pull out them source documents. If y'all are on extensions, create those IRS accounts if y'all have not created it. Create y'all state accounts if y'all have not created it. Go back and revisit your W-4s. If you have not filled out a W-4 in about 2-3 years, go to irs.gov and pull down the 2026 W-4 and fill it out and submit it to your job. If you're not aware of how to fill these documents out, consult with your tax preparer or your tax accountant. Be great in all that you do. Please love, like, share this content. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Give us feedback. We love that. So until next time, my loves, I want you to stay encouraged, stay grateful, and I want you to keep walking in purpose because we're going to be great. I'll see y'all next Saturday on Let's Talk Finance. I love y'all.